Boom. All right, everybody, welcome to session 7 this time. Yeah, I got it right. Where we're talking today about the nuts and bolts of solar warranties. If you can't see it here, you'll see it on the next slide. But today we have a really special guest, and her name is Linda Turner. Say hi, Linda.
Hi guys, how's it going?
So, Linda is the director at Midian. She's also an avid BMX biker, which is an interesting fact I didn't know, and also a serial mother of 5, right? We have a whole
7.
basketball team. 7. Okay, yeah, I was off by 2. I'm catching up to you though, so that's all good. The more the merrier. I'll let you kind of give a little bit of an introduction for yourself. So the stage is yours, and then we'll hop into the next subjects.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys letting me be here today and talk about this. It's a big issue in the industry. But to give you a little bit of background on myself, I've worked for some of the largest solar companies in the U.S. I've also worked for some of the largest manufacturers in the U.S., including 2 panel manufacturers and a battery manufacturer, 2 battery manufacturers. And I've also worked in finance and now in warranties, third-party warranties. And so I do have some knowledge across the board, and I love to share my knowledge with people. And I also have a background in sales training that I did for one of the largest solar companies. And so I find it to be really advantageous to educate salespeople and educate people that want to be educated in order to find the best ways to close more deals. So that's why I'm here.
And best of all, she's from San Diego, the best
Yes,
city
I
on earth.
am. I
Right
am, and I
here.
am an avid BMX rider. We belong to some BMX clubs out there. I just moved to Dallas, but we are starting that life out here. My whole family rides, and it's just the way we connect with our teenagers. And so it keeps us young as well. We ride about 50 miles a week. It's pretty
Very
cool.
good. That's awesome. That's great to hear. Well, thanks for coming on. And I couldn't think of anybody else better to bring on to talk about this subject. And yeah, let's get on with the first subject of the matter, which is going to be for most people, what they are taught in when you start in sales, especially if you're working with a smaller sort of shop where there's just they'll have a cash deal with a credit union financing, and a lot of these smaller outfits or just quick in and out companies are going to rely on manufacturer warranties. So can you talk to us a little bit about what manufacturer warranties are and what they actually cover, Linda?
Absolutely. So when it comes to manufacturer warranties, you really want to look at like what makes this product special. They're all solar panels. They're all inverters. They're all roofing materials or racking systems. It's all about what makes it special and how can you make it look special to a homeowner. Well, that's going to have to do with the coverage that they offer. So some panels only have a 10-year warranty, all the way up to some of them are going to 30 and 40 years now. And what it actually covers is what's important. So does it cover the labor or just the aesthetics or production, all three? It's all about knowing what you're offering and being able to maintain the integrity in what you're talking about. So with a panel, is it important to you that it has a 30-year warranty if a person only owns their home for an average of 7 years? I don't know, maybe. Is it important to have an extended warranty on an inverter if the person's only going to own their home for 7 years and they have to incur the expense? I don't know. It's all about what you've decided with that homeowner is important to them to decide which product is important to them. And you need to know the types of coverages you have. Now, there are a few manufacturers out there of panels that do offer labor warranties. Since we're really talking about warranties here, third-party warranties, and the necessity of those, that is the one component that's very important, because you want your homeowners to be covered in the long run so there isn't more money out of pocket to them. The other thing that I think is the most important is production. If the system does not produce electricity, why are we here? So knowing that that product is going to produce the highest standard of electricity and kilowatt hours to that homeowner is what's most important. Now, what else really matters when it comes to a warranty is what about their customer service standards and their timely warranty claims? How knowledgeable is their warranty claims staff? Are they taking care of these customers? Do the customers have to call in and keep calling and keep calling. How much money are they going to have to be paying for this repair service to the installers? Are the installers even going to be around? Is the manufacturer going to be around? We all know there's been some major manufacturers out there that have gone out of business. If they go out of business, how is the customer taken care of? And so we've had some really large companies come and go, one very recently that I'm very familiar with. And with that, each one of those, it creates a sense of uncertainty in the market. So our job is to make people feel comfortable and that they're going to always be taken care of no matter what.
That's well said. Yeah, and I think as coming from a background in installations and EPC and all these other things, really where the heartache and pain comes when you're having to deal with RMA units and things like that, and sometimes getting a hold of a manufacturer is like one time, I'm not gonna lie, we filed a warranty with a company of solar panel that's no longer around for a long time now. We called that phone number to get an RMA unit, and we ended up with a dry cleaning service picking up the phone, which was very funny. I thought, yeah, and so we couldn't think of anybody else, and to go back to the supplier and say, hey, dude, those guys are no longer around. Luckily, they honored it, which wasn't terrible, but we still had to end up paying all the truck rolls and all this, and it's just a nightmare. But if you're a reputable EPC or install company, you don't want to get held up in the service realm, right? You don't want to be an O&M company all of a sudden when when your main focus is selling kilowatts and installing them. And you're gonna have a lot of service issues. They're gonna come up, and you, as the contractor, I think it's smart to to have extended warranties or any other warranty that you can find for the customer's sake, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to end up paying for those broken plates. It's a saying in Spanish. I don't know if it works in English, but you get the idea, right? So,
Totally.
so did we cover extended warranties? We did, right?
Yes.
We just so yeah, some inverters are going to offer extended warranties and things like that, which are also helpful. But again, like Linda mentioned, it's a good idea to talk with your homeowner and kind of decide what's the best fit for them, right?
If there is any product you would purchase an extended warranty in solar, it would be an inverter. It is guaranteed to need to be replacing
Definitely,
at
I
warranty
agree.
time.
Well, we don't have extended warranties for batteries that I know of yet, so that's kind of an item in the solar industry, is like batteries. What are we
I
going to
think
do about them in 10 years?
batteries is a whole nother topic that I'd love to go on to, but batteries is a whole nother beast. And when it comes down to it, until battery technology can last longer than 10 years, it's really hard to extend a warranty based on it only working at 50% at the end of 10 years. How much longer can you guarantee something at that sliding scale and make it even advantageous?
Right. We'll cover battery warranties at the end of this segment. But Linda's going to quickly run into the truth about production warranties, which you can see on the slide. And there is a truth to production warranties. Some companies might offer a production guarantee on top of the panel manufacturer. So which one should you go with? The truth is, Linda knows. So let's let her jump on this one.
So I'm going to start with, actually, before we get into the manufacturer, is the good, the bad, and the ugly of a production guarantee and owning your own solar system. I think it's really important because back a million years ago when I started in solar, the biggest thing was a PPA and a lease. In some demographics right now, you still would use a PPA and a lease. In others, owning your own solar system, especially in California, in Hawaii, in Texas, there's big ownership. And ownership is really important when you own your own home. And there's some positives and there's some ugly parts to owning your own. The good parts is you have product warranties, and they are on a sliding scale, but there are warranties. There's also owning your own asset and adding value to your home when you want to own your own solar system. Those warranties are obviously going to help you get through all those tough times when you have an issue with your system. The bad is you own your own solar system. So you have to know and understand the production. You have to monitor it. You have to make sure it's going to be maintained. In a PPA, that is done for you. Now, when you own your own system, you may have to pay for a repairman. Just because you buy a house and it has toilets in it, if it doesn't work, you may have to buy, pay for a plumber to come out. It's kind of the same thing when you own your own solar system. And it's kind of a misconception in the industry right now that if they buy a solar system from company ABC, then they expect that company to 100% take care of it forever. And that's not really fair, because the cost of labor, the cost of everything go up over the years. And you can't even tell them how much a repair cost is going to be in 15 years from now, because we don't know how much labor is going to cost in 15 years. So just setting up solid expectations when you own your own system is very important. And that's why third-party warranties are also very important, which we'll get into in a little bit. The ugly, the ugly of owning your own solar system when it comes to that is owning a non-working solar system and not even realizing it until it's true up. Once your true up comes and you have an $1,800 true up bill and you're freaking out because now you have to pay that to utility and your system didn't work for 6 months, and there was no alert from the inverter manufacturer letting you know that it wasn't working because it just slipped through the system, there's no guarantee that would come through. And so with that, it's your responsibility to be checking it on your own. And are they even educated enough to know what it should be producing, where it's at? Are they going to be diligent enough? I would say 80% of homeowners stop looking at the monitoring of their solar system within the first 6 months. So that definitely changes it. The only other ugly thing is manufacturer. Oh, geez, I'm so sorry, guys. The manufacturer going out of business. And that is also a very big struggle. It's a real thing. And so when you own your own system, making sure you're taken care of, even if they go out of business, is very important. And it helps the safety of that homeowner. Now, when it comes to the manufacturer, it's on paper. It's on paper that they have a warranty. They have to monitor it. They have to call the manufacturer, call the installer. They have to, the homeowner is responsible for these things, but the manufacturer offers it. The manufacturer offers a warranty. It is there. It's about utilizing them properly and knowing what your rights are as a homeowner to maintain your warranty. As it comes to an installer, unless it's in your contract that you will cover maintenance, then it doesn't exist. Yes, there may be some, laws in certain areas that require certain standards, but in the end, you're just going to get a bunch of angry customers that are going to call when their system's not working. You're going to have growing service departments losing money. And so you need to be protected. Now, when it comes to what I do, I work for a company called Omnidian, and we offer something called proactive monitoring. And proactive monitoring it's for the homeowner. It takes care of them and their peace of mind. 24/7, they're being taken care of. They don't have to take care of it themselves, watch over it themselves, wait for alerts. We know there's something wrong with the system before SolarEdge knows something's wrong with the system, before Enphase knows something's wrong with the system. We already know, and 70% of the time before their alert even comes through, we've 100% taken care of the issue. Now, the other thing that we do for our installers and our homeowners is we offer them 100% covered maintenance. We pay for those truck rolls on the systems that the company sells. And so it actually covers those EPC installers with the protection that whatever is sold is going to be taken care of. Our idea is that if you sell more, you can service less, you're making more money. We offer a production guarantee to homeowners in the form of money. So if it's projected to make 10,000 kilowatt hours, if it does not produce at least 95% of that over the year, we reimburse them. We're not in the business to writing checks. And so we 100% make sure they're taken care of. We offer customer service outreach and support. I want to highlight the word outreach real quick because that's what's important here. It's not we have a customer service department that you can call into to be taken care of. We are outreaching customers when there's an issue. And so they're 100% supported. And that's the biggest difference between having monitoring and proactive monitoring with customer outreach. We go into those APIs of the inverter companies and their monitoring systems, and we use our technology to just completely make it a full coverage of the system for these folks. When we send out tickets for service, we're not just sending people out to just anywhere. There's only about 5 for every 100 maintenance calls that we can't handle just over the phone with support. And we take care of that. We also offer the homeowners quarterly performance reports, which is going to let them know the health of their system every quarter. So even if they haven't heard from us in the quarter, we don't want them to forget about us or you. It's co-branded, and so that you can get more referrals. It's also co-branded, so you're in front of them every quarter. And it allows those homeowners to see exactly what's going on with their system, so they know they're taken care of and protected.
I'm going to tap in on this one really quick. And before we keep going, in the chat, guys, please make sure that if you have any questions as we go, just drop them in the chat. We'll go ahead and answer them. Linda's gonna have a couple more talking points about Omnidian and stuff like that, and I'm sure, like, please come up with any questions, because we definitely, can't talk about everything, but there's really good questions that we can answer that everybody can benefit from. So don't be shy, drop your questions in there, we'll get them answered. And as it relates to performance guarantee, like cash back for lost energy, my experience has been that the manufacturer is going to give you their performance guarantees, and they're there to kind of fill a void. They're just there as you need them, but who's going to sit there and, do the math on, how this degradation is working and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's going to be hard, and they're not going to give you cash back. They're just going to, maybe replace the panel if it's underproducing or something like that. And so, for anybody to get out there and actually do an analysis on these things, like, nobody wants to do it, guys. It's just not, what installers want to be doing. They want to be installing new systems all the time. That's what the business that they're in. Now, a lot of the installers are going to offer somewhat of a performance guarantee, and when you go to the fine print, you'll find out that, it's not only are they, kind of, what would you say, like throttled back a little bit. I've seen it where we'll put this into PV watts, and the contract says like 10 or 15% less, and it's like, wait a minute, like, you have to use this software. So they're alone, like, they're losing 10%, plus their performance guarantee is like 90, or even I've seen 80%, and so really in reality, what that really looks like is, a customer can have their system off for 2 or 3 months, and they're still not going to hit that performance guarantee. So, and then by the time, like, we sit down and figure out, what's going on, the first person that's going to get a phone call is the sales rep, right? From the customer, is like, why do I have $1,000 electric bill? Well, let's go look at your monitoring. Go look at your bill. Let's take this whole review thing and blah, blah, blah. And it just becomes this, like, all right, we've reviewed it, and it looks like you may be entitled to a performance guarantee. Let's go talk to the installer. And the installer's like, yeah, talk to that person. And then talk to that person. By the time, like, it'll take months and I know, because this has happened with 3 of my customers already. I've counted it. And yes, all 3 of them got some sort of kickback. They just weren't exactly happy about it, because, at the end of the day, their system had a 3-month downtime and nobody caught it. So, what Omnidian is doing is they're actually being proactive about, making sure that that's not happening, because, again, that's going to cost, money on somebody's side, and this is their only job, is to do this. And so I think it's a great idea to have it in as an add-on there.
And just to throw this in there,
yeah, go ahead.
Just to throw this in there, we have a home warranty license, and we are the only company that has a home warranty license that allows us to do this proactive system monitoring. We're the only ones that have a system that's even capable of doing this. What our system does for proactive monitoring is it ingests all the data from the API from their inverter their inverter and their monitoring system. And what it's going to do is it's going to put it in buckets. They'll know if it's just lost connectivity. They'll know if it's the degradation on a panel, and so they need to do a warrant. We need to do a warranty claim. They'll know exactly what the reason is. Maybe the panels are dirty. Maybe there's a fire in the area. But our algorithms spit that out and allow that to be, used as knowledge. And every single time we retain an asset, we actually gain more knowledge, and our algorithms get tighter and tighter and tighter. So they know exactly what's going on. Right now at Omnidian, we are taking care of 1,900 megawatts across the US. So we have quite a bit of solar under our belts and assets under our belts.
Huge. Are you on the sell more and service less?
So I've kind of gone over this slide. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer them if anybody's in the chat. I only have a few more minutes before I have to go to my other meeting.
No problem. I haven't seen any questions, which means we've pretty much did a pretty good job of covering the first couple of segments here. And and to that, I'd like to add that we are definitely offering Omnidian as an option with some of our install partners that are allowing it. It is kind of a process to get it going. So do you want to kind of talk a little bit about the process and what it costs and things like that?
Sure. So the process is we have to get an agreement from the EPC because they're the ones that are going to get paid for the truck rolls. They're also the ones that have to maintain insurance and whatnot for the systems themselves. Now, the positive for those EPC partners is they're getting paid to take care of the systems that you sell. So it's really only a plus side for them. When it comes to a contract, are you looking at? So we're looking at a 1 year or a 3-year term. And it's anywhere from $299 in some markets, but in other markets, it's only $259. It's based on different states. So Hawaii and California, New York, a couple other states up there, you get a 20-cent kilowatt hour reimbursement for energy lost, and it's $299. For the other states, we are covered in 31 states on this program. It is 10 cents. I can send out a map of which ones are covered with which production guarantees for you. That way you can send that to everyone. I love it when my phone number flashes across the screen. I'm just kidding. It's totally fine. I hope anybody that has any questions, you can get a hold of me. That is not a problem. My email or texting, calling. Texting is the quickest response, or email. But when it comes down to it, honestly, we're just here to be a true partner. And if we can get those EPC partners involved, I'm working on getting together partners to add and partners to get a hold of. And so we can get you guys really truly selling this across the country.
Yeah, and just a disclaimer, Linda's information is there. Please feel free to, save her phone number and refer her to any install partners that you might have in the area. Once we're done with this presentation, we're going to go ahead and add in a slide where we see the coverage areas and the pricing that it would cost to add it to each project. And obviously, we're going to have a button there on our proposal request, or whether it's on the job form or on Go Solo, we'll add it in there as kind of just push of a button. It's going to add less than $1 or $2 to the payment. It's really like offer the customers the best warranties in the industry. Warranties will get you more deals. I guarantee you. If you throw on extended warranty, all this, you're gonna get that deal more than the guy that came in before or the guy that's coming in after. Because, if they don't have it, then well, guess what? So yeah, so that's all we have today on extended warranties with Omnidian and manufacturer warranties. I want to thank Linda Turner for coming on today. And I still don't have any questions here. So that means we did a really good job of explaining things. Well, you have a really nice day. And if you wanted to add anything else, feel free.
No, the only thing I would add is that there's always objections with homeowners on, is your company going to be around? Is that EPC going to be around? And that protecting those homeowners with a third-party warranty such as Omnidian is really going to give them that extra vote of confidence that you are giving them the best that you possibly can. And honestly, it just helps me sleep at night knowing I'm helping a lot of people. And that's my goal in this industry, is to just help people. So if any other questions, just feel free to get a hold of me and I'd be happy to answer them for you. And I hope you guys have a great day.
You too, Linda. Take care. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Well, bye-bye. All right. Well, that was it for extended warranties with Omnidian. We do have a few more slides to go over, and in this segment, we've got third why third-party warranties, and we talked about Omnidian, which is we're starting to roll that out with some of our EPCs and stuff like that, so you'll see it as an option there. The other extended warranty we have, as you guys may know, is Solar Insure. Now, these two warranties, they cover, they overlap on certain things, but they also cover different things. In this case, Solar Insure is going to, simply put, is going to add it's going to actually extend your equipment warranty to 30 years, which right now, as you may or may not be aware of, panel manufacturers typically have a 12-25. What that means is they got a 12-year warranty on their product. So, I mean, if the back sheet peels off, or if the J box blows out or something inside the solar panel, it's only covered for a certain amount of time. And it really depends on the manufacturer, but the going rate on that is around 10 to 12 years. Some have 25, some have 15. So just kind of, when you're selling, when you're a focused selling on equipment, I know a lot of folks out there like to sell, I don't know, Solaria, or I don't want to throw out too many names, but there's different little things you can add in there. But when you're dealing with like with EPCs that we deal with across the country, they have a wide variety of base modules, right? And if you're like me, I like to offer solar panels. Like, I'm not unless it's SunPower in California or something like that, then I really don't want to go too deep into it, because I know that the solar technology itself is very reliable, because there are no moving parts. Okay, you don't have to change the oil on a solar panel. You don't have to, replace any fuses. There's nothing. It's just a piece of glass that needs to be cleaned every now and then, and it's working, right? It's plugged into another machine. Now, these other machines is where you might want to have think about getting extended warranties on, such as inverters, micro inverters, string inverters, hybrid inverters, all these other things. So that's where Solar Insure kind of really comes into play. Now, the one caveat with Solar Insure is that if you want to use Enphase, for example, then there's no extra coverage you need to get. They're going to go ahead and extend that to 30 years because Enphase does a 25-year warranty. Now, if it were Solar Edge, for example, if you have the standard warranty on the string inverter, it's about 12 years. So you'd have to buy the extended warranty on top of that and get Solar Insure. So think about that. The costs, for that vary on by the size of the inverter. So just really pay attention to that, and we'll go over that as we build out a proposal. If you select the Solar Insure Extra add-on, you do have to add the extended warranty for certain inverters, such as Generac, or if Generac is not a 25-year warranty. I'm not exactly sure, so I don't want to speak out of term. But yeah, anyway, also the roof penetration warranty gets extended to 30 years. Now, this is where my biggest selling point is with Solar Insure, is that the roof, right? A lot of the EPCs out there, they're going to give them a standard 10-year. I've seen 2 years in some states where, not like California, where you have to give a minimum of 10 years on the equipment. So they're going to go ahead and extend that penetration warranty. That gives customers a peace of mind, because I think one of the most, one of the biggest concerns that I see with homeowners is that, oh my gosh, you're going to put holes in my brand new roof. Like, it's kind of a nightmare for them to think about that, right? And so when you get that objection from customers, when they have a concern, it's like, but I just put this roof on 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't want to put any holes in it. I want to put it on the ground. And then you're just like, oh, you really want to spend $10,000 to put it on the ground? Come on. Instead, why don't we just give you an extended warranty? We'll cover the roof forever, right? Only where the penetrations are, of course. not going to cover the other side of the house where, where there's no solar panels and the chimney's leaking. So just, be mindful of that when you're really talking about roof warranties. It's only the area where the penetrations are, and it's only like 5 inches away from the penetration, really. So if you have 6 feet between penetrations and it's leaking in between there, chances are you're not going to get coverage from the installer. So you might think about, adding Solar Insure. With these customers that have these objections, you can fight that off, throw that objection aside, and just say, hey, look, I got you covered for 30 years. What else? What else you got for me? All right. So that was it. Do you guys have any questions about extended warranties? We have them. I am a huge proponent of anything insurance, and I don't want to get caught with my pants down basically anywhere. So yeah, I add value wherever I can, and if it's not going to cost me a thing, and if it adds value to the customer, you can upsell it, no problem. It's really simple to do, and it adds a couple bucks to your payment, like big deal. Everybody's going to go for it. I'm going to roll into craftsmanship warranties and what that means. So craftsmanship warranties is usually, related to the installation part of the whole project. And basically what that covers is the physical installation practices and all of the non-balance of system components. So a balance of system component is a solar panel, an inverter, a microinverter, a trunk cable, anything that racking. So these all have their own separate warranties. But anything else, like I'm just throw an example out there. I threw up a 20-foot piece of EMT on the wall, and I strapped it into the wall, and then 4 years later, those straps are coming off. The EMT connector, the guys didn't tighten it up with the proper tools. Now it's getting condensation and water in there. Now the wiring is rotting. Now you have breaker issues and all this other stuff. That is all going to be covered under a craftsmanship warranty. So conduit, wiring, breakers, fuses, disconnects, labels, anchors, straps, nuts, bolts, clamps, etc. All these little components that aren't necessarily included in the balance of system. Okay, balance of system are the major components, the big brand names with the warranties, racking, inverters, modules, and sometimes like the grounding clamps. Okay, those might be separate from this whole thing, but yeah, this has its own warranty, and typically a craftsmanship warranty is only going to last around 10 years. All right, so let's say your installation contract only has a 10-year craftsmanship warranty. If at year 12, this thing has been building condensation inside of the conduit, and after year 12, the wiring just basically rotted out and broke, and now you have a dead system. Now, when you go to the contractor and try to file a warranty claim on it, you're done. There's nothing I can do. It's been past 10 years. Sorry, you could have caught this earlier. So this is where extended warranties come into play, and this is what craftsmanship warranties are. So again, you got roof warranties, you got craftsmanship warranties, manufacturer warranties, and extended warranties. As you can see, there's a lot of warranties on this to think about. And so if you just blanket everything with an extended warranty that covers everything, then you're good to go. All right. Those conversations with the customer stop at 30 years. Boom. All right. Or with Meridian, where you have a performance guarantee, where that's strong, because a lot of the install partners don't have performance guarantees. They just don't want to get into the business of paying out per kilowatt hour on something that his customer's not really looking and checking their portal. It's their responsibility to make sure the system is working, and it is. But most customers, as we know, 85% of customers, they get their monitoring, and then a week later they just took it off their phone, and they no longer know what's going on with their system. So yeah, that's a bad habit. It's good to educate your customers and tell them how important it is to monitor their system every month when they get that SDG&E bill, or that utility bill, the true up bill, whatever. Just take 5 minutes, get to know your system, get to know your production, get to know your kilowatt hours and all these other things. That way, next year, when the same month rolls around and you're seeing half of the production you saw last year, you can catch it right off the bat, and you can address any issues before you spend a whole year with a down system or with an underperforming system. All right. Anybody have any questions about craftsmanship warranties? Or I guess we can move on from here. The next one is we have standard roof warranties. Okay, so standard roof warranties. Quick, briefly going to cover it. Typically, typically we're looking at again a minimum of 10 years or a maximum of 10 years, depending on where you are. But usually 10 years is around the time that installation partners will warranty a roof. Now, there are some partners out there that will look at a roof and say, damn, that thing looks pretty damn bad. Like, we should probably replace it. And there are others that'll say, hey, as long as they sign a waiver that I'm not responsible for this roof after I install it, I'm all good. We can do this. And so some will pull out a waiver and have the customer sign it. The customer signs it, and now the customer, is going to be liable for removing that system, replacing the roof, and if there's any damage, they're responsible for it because they didn't want to replace the roof at the time of doing solar, which is another big, we actually had this discussion last week about, when to sell a roof and why. Selling a roof with solar should always be, something that you should bring up to the customer and say, look, if you don't do it now, you might run into problems later. I mean, we might be able to give you a 30-year warranty on the roof, depending on the condition of it. But if it's not up to par, then you're going to be left without coverage. And a leak, if your system is leaking and it gets into the drywall, gets into the walls, gets into the insulate, oh my gosh, you got mold. There's all kinds of stuff that can go wrong with a leak, and you don't want to get stuck on the wrong end of that situation, right? So, yeah, roof penetrations, again, it's only going to cover within 5 inches of where you put that hole in the roof. Typically, anything above, beyond, or right next to it is not really going to fall into the roof penetration warranty because it's not within that area. So definitely something to think about there. Now, this is a really important one, actually, the duration and voiding an existing warranty. So let's say your customer just replaced the roof 5 years ago. They got a brand new 30-year dimensional shingle roof 5 years ago. The roofer is the local roofer in town. He's really good. He always answers his phone, they're going to be around to service any warranty issues. But once you put a hole in that roof, what happens? You lose that warranty, right? The roofer is going to be like, whoa, nobody told me that you guys were putting solar panels. Therefore, here you go. Here's your voided warranty. I told you not to put any holes in my roof. So what happens then, right? Some customers might be inclined to talk to the roofer and say, hey, I'm getting solar. I just want to make sure that this doesn't void my warranty. And they're like, most definitely it's going to void your warranty. What we should do is we should have me install the roofing and possibly even the solar panel. So you risk losing that job to a local roofer who they have a relationship to by not talking about extended warranties. Okay. So, and by not even addressing this issue, right? If you see a brand new roof there, you might even want to step ahead and notify the customer, hey, look, we're going to be putting holes in the roof. I see there's a brand new roof out there. Not to worry. I have a solution for that. We don't have to talk to your roofer right now. Let's just move on. So we'll provide them with an extended warranty, and then boom, that objection, before it even comes up, you've already discussed it, and it's no longer a problem. Okay. But if you wait for these things to come up later and you're caught off guard and you don't know what to do, you don't have to talk to people about warranties, you're going to have a tough time closing this deal, my friend, because the next guy is going to know what the ticking points are. And if they have this available and they close it on you, it's not going to matter to the customer if they're $5,000 or $4,000 cheaper. If they're protected for the life of the system and their investment is protected, which is their brand new roof, then you really, they're going to like them more. So really take this to your advantage. Whatever we're talking about today, the more you know, the better you're going to be at kind of discussing these things, right? So just roll off the tongue. Within 5 minutes, you'll get over and done with the warranty discussion, and there's nothing else, no objections. And I know this is a big ticket. Our next segment here is battery warranties. So battery warranties, not the best. And they're also very expensive. Not to say that I personally don't sell batteries. I sell tons of batteries here in California. But the expectation of a battery, um, in my opinion, is look, if you're going to offer a battery, then offer a battery in a place where the where the 10 years of the warranty is actually going to pay itself off, right? What I mean by that is you buy a battery with the battery, with having in mind that that battery is going to save a customer money on time of use rates, for example, on demand charges, on whatever it is, that batteries are going to be set up to do, and not with the mindset of like, oh, I want a battery because I want battery backup. That's it. I wouldn't waste my time a lot on that, because if that battery is just going to sit there waiting for an emergency to happen, customer is going to end up paying 15 or 20,000 plus interest on a battery that 10 years later is going to be done. And what if they only use it 3 or 4 times in 10 years? Like, I don't know if it's worth it, like I would bring these things up, always bring up, hey, go to Costco, get a get a bifuel generator, get a Generac or whatever it is. It's going to cost you a fraction of the battery, and you're not going to have to deal with replacing it every 10 years, right? Now, and that's in the case where you don't have a profile to match a battery to, where it's going to make customers money, where it's going to sell power back to the utility during peak times, where they're going to make money on this battery, they're going to get rid of non-bypassable charges, where they're not going to incur any peak time charges, right? Like in California, the battery provides a shield between certain hours where you're displacing power into the home instead of drawing it from the grid. That saves you money. All right, now when your house is like, I'm good, and then the battery still has some life in it, it just dumps the power into the utility and selling them the power, for whatever you're supposed to be getting, and not selling it back at a 4 cent rate for power or something like that. So just something to think about when talking about battery warranties. Now, here's a really good one that I like to offer in places where, like California, where we do leases and PPAs. A fun fact about a lease and a PPA with a battery is that battery is going to have a 25-year warranty across the board, because it comes with the plan, right? It's going to be a 25-year lease. So for the next 25 years, the battery, the system, the solar, the inverters, everything is going to be covered, insured, maintenance, and all under one blanket. So you don't have to worry about getting an extended warranty for batteries, for the solar panel, nothing, because they're paying for it through their rate per kilowatt hour. And that's why escalators are that's why most third-party owned systems will ask you to have an escalator with a battery, because that battery needs to pay itself off. If they're going to offer 2 replacements like SunPower does, they'll give you a 25-year warranty on the battery plus 2 free replacements on that battery. And so just something to think about there. That's how you can get an extended warranty on a battery, is by doing it on a lease. Now, to some that may or may not make sense. Batteries are a whole different discussion. We've got incentives and rebates and things like that we can get into, but that'll be on another segment. For today, that's all we got. So this topic is pretty simple, but also has a lot of nuts and bolts, which is why we named it Nuts and Bolts. So you're going to be very, very well prepared. You should be very well prepared after reviewing this. Again, it's going to be recorded. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube in segments, so you can just go in, fast forward to the parts that where it's where you have some interest. We're also going to add in the notes to this presentation that you're seeing on the screen, and we're going to drop in some extra notes that we've been talking about. And since we didn't have any questions, or don't have any questions, actually, we'll open it up to some questions right now. So fire away if you guys have any questions about what we just discussed. So give you guys a couple minutes here, a minute or so. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day, and then we'll see you next week. Sold. I must be a great presenter along with Linda. No questions asked. That's the way I like it. All right, guys. Well, see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. And we're constantly working hard and getting out new subjects and bringing on people that are experts in that field. Like today, Linda, I think, was a perfect candidate for that. And our objective is just to, to share our knowledge, and to get you guys, better suited to close more deals, hopefully through One Up Solar, obviously, right? We're here to help you with any questions you might have regarding these, any of these topics. You can always feel free to reach out to me, Luis, or anybody on our Solar One Up Solar squad. We'll be happy